So now what I would do is I would go back to the main scene, and I would put in the sound, and I would change the mouth poses in there. So actually at this stage what I can do is I'm just going to insert a layer here, and I'm going to drag it up to the top, and I'll just put in hello to identify that this is where I say hello. I'm going to decide where I want that to start. Maybe I want it to start in at number 5, keyframe number 5, and go to my library, drag the audio to the stage at that point. Well, actually, first I should right-click, insert keyframe, and then drag the sound to the stage. Remember, you drag to the stage instead of otherwise. Then I'm going to click over at keyframe number 20, and notice that the sound is in here. I don't think I've gone very far there.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, so
Hi, how are you?
More frames here. So maybe I should go to about frame 70 and hold Shift, and I'm going to select, and then I'm going to hit F5 this time. Okay, and now I've got my audio. I can see there's my audio. So at this portion, it's not really going to do anything. So maybe at this stage.
Hi, how are you?
At this stage, what I should do is get rid of some of the audio which doesn't really do anything in here. So if I click on the audio itself, go to Properties in the time. So I clicked on it in the timeline, go to the pencil. I can zoom out and edit this. So maybe I really wanted it to start much sooner. So then I can change the start point. If I wanted to, I could change the end point as well. I could zoom out and change the end point, but that's not really going to make much difference in this case. So now if I say OK, notice how in the timeline you can see that the vocals have moved their position. So really this is about where it's going to start to talk. Okay, so if I play this from the beginning.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, I really want the mouth to start moving just before the sound starts. All right, we would normally want the mouth movements to happen just ahead of what we would hear, so that way we see it. So in these ones, I had just shown you some practice things here. I'm just going to remove these frames to get rid of those. Okay, and what I'm going to do is just in around. So at this point. Again, I really want to get rid of all of these frames. And I will fill it in up until here by hitting F5. And I'm going to come across now just in front of where the voice level is going to be heard. I'm going to click there, right-click, and insert keyframe. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the symbol itself, and because I had already changed this to single frame, it stays that way. I'm going to change this. Maybe we'll go to number 2. I think number 2 was more of a, oh no, number 2 seems to be okay. So it starts to open up, and then as the sounds progress, we want it to look like it's changing. Hello, so there would be an O sound, so I probably want something that looks very round. So I'm going to right-click and insert another keyframe. And again, I'm going to do this really quickly so that it may not be all that well matched, but you could spend more time. I just want to take time in the animation. And then maybe go a little bit further along and yet another shape. Insert keyframe, click on it, and let's change it. Maybe number 4. And let's just see how that looks okay so far.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, I forgot that the first part is actually hi.
How are you?
So maybe I shouldn't have used a round one there. Maybe I should have gone maybe on this one. Maybe I should have made it more of a number 4. And on this one maybe, and I'm just playing around with it, number 5. Okay, there's nothing exact about it whatsoever. Okay, and then maybe back into this area, we want to bring the mouth back to a closed position, so insert keyframe, and I'll go back to frame number 1, and then over into here, and just before the sound, I'm going to click on it, and let's make it this one a number 4. Oops, I forgot to insert the keyframe, so that meant that that changed this one back here. So I want to go back to that one and make that 1 and insert a keyframe. And then I want to click on the mouth itself. I'm going to make that one a number 4. And then as I work through here, I'm just going to, at different points, put in different mouth poses. Okay. Oops, I thought that was a number 3. And I'm going to keep working along. Click on this one. And number 4. And I'll go to here. Maybe this one is 3 again. And come along into this area, maybe insert keyframe. And maybe this one is back to number 1 again. Okay. And now if I play it.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, doesn't look terrible. Certainly more time and thinking out the sounds and creating more mouth poses would make it look much better. But that very quickly, or reasonably quickly, I've been able to show you how to make the character look like he's talking with the sound. Now if I go back to scene 1, then I've got this as a character. I could go ahead and move this wherever I want to. If I wanted to, I could delete it out and go to my library and go to the Mello head and just drag it in. Or if I want to have another instance of it for some reason, I could drag it in. And then if I go along here to F5, create, then it's going to look like it's talking during that period of time. Now notice what happens when I play this one. There isn't any sound, and that's because the sound is in the Mello head symbol, which has its own timeline, and so it can't play the sound. If I had instead turned this into a movie clip, the sound would play. However, when I play when I scrub along the timeline, I wouldn't see the action happening. It would only be when I actually create it as an SWF. So I don't like using the movie clips. What I can do instead is go and change and put the sound back in on scene 1. So I know that it should be starting 5 seconds in after I've shown after I've put in the symbol here. So if I go back to scene 1 and go to the 5th frame, I'm going to create a new layer and I'm going to put in the sound. So I'm going to say hello. It doesn't matter whether I leave the other one in on the other back in the nested scene, because it's not going to play here anyways. So I'm going to right click, insert a keyframe, and I can drag in the sound. So I could have actually done all the mouth poses back on the main scene. It's just that if I want to do other actions, I find it easier to do it within. And so I'm going to drag the sound in to the stage at that point. And now when I play this, I'm going to get the same effect. Oh, actually it's gone and changed because I hadn't I dragged in the unedited version. So I've got to go to the properties, select, and edit that portion. So I'm going to be not quite bang on with this, but it's going to be good enough for right now. Okay, that looks pretty similar. And now when I play it,
Hi, how are you?
it looks kind of strange because I have 2 of them working that way. But again, I can just click on this one and delete it. You can also do things, whether it was your first symbol or if you had another symbol. I can go to modify, transform, flip, I think it would be flip vertical. Oh, no, undo. And modify, oops, just make sure it's selected again. Modify, transform, flip horizontal, and now I've got this thing going the other direction. So if I decided to want to, and because it's only on that first frame, I'd have to also do it on the frames in between. Okay, so get kind of a cool effect there. But anyways, I'm just going to delete one of these and take it out of the image there. So now I've got this thing, and it
Hi, how are you?
looks not too bad. And on this last frame, I need to go and delete this one out as well. Oops, undo. I just want to delete the one. So I'm going to delete the one out of there. Now we've got that working. I could do the same sort of thing for the eyes. I could have the eyes move a little bit, and that'll make it look more realistic. And hopefully this will help you figure out how to make a character look like it's talking. At any point now, I can also click on it, transform, and I could change its size, hold the shift key. I could move it off the screen and do a motion queen and have it come in and so on. I'm going to show you in the next tutorial. I'm going to continue on with the Mello and have the Mello move into the screen and change its size, so to do like a zoom in. Okay, hopefully this tutorial was helpful to you.